Previously on the Ronice and B Show.
In telling my own story, it is one in my purpose and my passion to share who I am. So I hope that I can help somebody else. The Ronice and B Show is about finding joy in your journey as we have real talk with real life, real people. Tonight, I'm going to take time out and I'm going to talk to Luther Wright. We all know Luther to be the NBA star. And
the hulking 7'2" Luther Wright is a former Seton Hall center. He was one of the focal points of the Pirates' 1993 Big East championship team and left after his junior season to go to the NBA.
So again, on the Ronice and B Show, we talk about finding joy in our journey. So I know I shared a little bit about my dark side, the fact that from the time I was 8 until the time I was 13 that I was sexually molested. And then I know in doing your story, you said that some of the things that transpired or whatever with you, if you just want to share that just a little bit.
Well, you know, what can you say about molestation is wrong. And when I was experiencing it, I didn't know what was happening. Didn't know who to tell, who not to tell, you know.
How old were you when it happened?
When it first started happening, I was like 5.
Wow.
Yeah, and it went all the way up till I was about 12, 13. And I really didn't trust too many people, not even my parents. I told them, and the response I was expecting, I didn't get it, so I held on to it.
And it's funny you should say that, Luther, because that was the thing too, that it wasn't the point when I did tell, right? It wasn't the point that I wanted something to happen. It was like you said, I didn't get the response that I hoped for.
When you find it in your heart to forgive the person that caused you harm,
right,
you heal from it. Not even on purposely trying to get that person to heal or understand how they hurt you.
Right.
You letting it go, you letting that baggage go. And I found a lot of, especially when I wrote the book, that's where the most release came, because this is the first time that I got to tell my story. Some of the things that I experienced that I know was a direct cause of the mental health issues that I had to deal with, the drug abuse that I the addiction part.
So just a couple of things too, like I know forgiveness, when I talk about that, is actually, for me, it was about letting go the hope that those things didn't happen. And so once I let go, like, you can't erase it, like you said, but it was the hope that really didn't happen. I was like, did this really happen? But once you let that go, it's a release for you. And
you are able to help others by showing that this is possible. Healing is possible. Letting go is possible. You'll never forget it, but it's not as heavy.
It's not that stuck point. Like, I'm not stuck there anymore.
Right.
But even you were just saying with your mental health issues, and then like with your drug addiction. And so one of the things I say all the time is that for me, I didn't necessarily turn to those other vices. I think school became an outlet for me. So and it was in a healthy way, but it was also a safe place for me if I had to think about it. So when in that turn, for the same age that happened, was that also a time when you started to use drugs or anything like that?
Yeah, I started, I picked up my first joint and had my first drink my freshman year in high school. For me, every situation I found myself in, whether it was homelessness, whether it was addiction, whether it was everything, it was all a choice except for the abuse, except for the sexual abuse, except for the mental stuff, because all of it, it's like it's like a snowball effect. It all was centered around me trying to hide the hurt, trying to, they call it self-medicating yourself, and you try to take your mind off the stuff. Like I take my music very serious today, because it's definitely a release. It's very relaxing for me when I'm playing. I'm in the spirit, or I'm in the zone, just playing.
Right.
And I always used to use music as an escape. You make a choice, right? It's something you have to rationalize in your head, but you don't go into it thinking. I didn't take that first puff of marijuana or take that first drink thinking I'm gonna become, later on in life, I'm gonna have to go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings or Narcotics Anonymous meetings, which is the things that I do now just to remind myself where I was, and where I am now to just say,
isn't that wonderful? Like
yeah,
you can just look back and just say,
it's hope in this. 10 years ago, if I had a mirror, when I was a full-blown crackhead, if I had the mirror and I looked in the mirror, okay, you an addict too. But you still in denial because you don't think it's that bad.
Right.
Even though you homeless on the street, you ain't got no shoes on your feet, you living in abandoned buildings, abandoned cars, you finding ways and means to get another one, you still an addict. But when I first came back and I got into the rooms and, going through the motions of recovery, you don't want to identify because you're like, oh, I'm not an addict. I wasn't that bad, but she was that bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's still a reflection on how you see yourself.
Right.
So I
saw myself as the draft pick. I saw myself back in 1993,
right,
muscled down, got my uniform on at the free throw line, all those pictures that I got, basketball card.
Right.
That's the person I saw. I didn't see the skinny crackhead that I had become. I don't got to use no more to be normal, or I don't got to do like
right,
that to fit in. I'm being who God made me to be, just like this,
right,
clean. 10 years, almost 11 years clean. April 6th, I'll be 11 years clean.
Oh, congratulations on that.
I never,
seriously, like,
when I
and I'm not
first
clapping
came in.
on whatever.
No, everybody does it though.
Yeah.
When I mention that, because that's all I really have. I'm a paycheck away and a hit away from going right back to square one, having to get a new clean date. And that's like a fear of mine. I don't want to. I work too hard, to build these relationships, to repair a lot of the bridges that I burned down years ago, just for me being stubborn and wanting to do the things I wanted to do the way I wanted to do them. There was no future in it.
So even now, just saying the relationships that you have. So I know you're married,
right?
And so I always have this question: did your wife talk to you about your past? You just came forth and just told her what happened to you?
Because I liked her,
okay,
and I didn't want my past to come from somebody else telling her. I just told her, and I was practicing honesty, and I still do. I try to tell the truth to people.
Practice honesty.
Yeah, tell the truth, and you don't got to remember what you said. I respect you. You know the saying they say, if it don't kill you, it make you stronger.
Oh my goodness!
Like you have
we all
to
rocky
be
up in here, ain't we?
Yeah, you have to be a champion of wanting to help somebody else get through something that you've gotten through already. And
right,
the way to do it is just to be totally honest, look a person in the eye, like, I don't want you, you don't want me, but this is what happened to me. Because I was going through that before I was comfortable enough to talk about it. Like,
right,
my biggest fear was somebody to think I was gay. I ain't into men like that.
Right.
I love women. I married a woman. I'm not into that, but I know
even if
it could have been
for some of the men to, even to be of a homosexual nature. And it's always one of those things too, that it's the belief that all men are sexually violated by men. Some men are sexually violated by women.
Yeah, that happened to me.
Right.
Not for nothing. I was molested by 2 men and a woman.
Right.
The woman, I liked it. The man, I was confused.
Right.
And that's the baggage that I carried throughout my life. But now that I wrote the book, I got some help, and I didn't go lay on nobody's couch and talk about it. I just manned up and was like, this is what's holding me back.
Right.
The fear of what somebody's going to think, what somebody's going to say, how it made me feel. It made me. I was furious because there was nothing that I could do to change it. It was done already. So you have to get to the point in your life where you understand, like, I'm here for a reason. I didn't die. I didn't jump out a window. I hear people all the time committing suicide over stuff that's
deciding their whole life in one moment.
Over stuff that is not saying my stuff is bigger than, I don't wish suicide or death on nobody, but I could have killed myself a long time ago if with my baggage, but I didn't. I tried to commit suicide twice.
Yeah,
I thank God it didn't work.
I've been here as well too.
You know what I'm saying? So we're the champions of this stuff,
right,
and the more people that we meet and just talk to them about this, they become champions as well, because they could look at it. I could look you in the face and know that you've been through the same thing that I've been through, but whatever you use to be a champion at just getting over it, I want to know. I want to talk to you and find out, well, what did you do? And vice versa. I'm not ashamed to talk about it, because it happened. It happened when it happened. I couldn't get the help that I needed when I needed it, but I'm getting the help that I need now because
I'm
talking,
choosing to.
right? I'm talking
right.
about it. That's
There's
where
no
I
shame
get
in
the
our
strength.
story.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Luther. I'm gonna tell you. I really don't know, for real. This ain't no foo. Thank you for sharing you with me. Thank you for trusting you with me. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm gonna shut up, y'all. Y'all know I'm a crybaby, but for real. Luther, victim. He's not a victim. He's a victor or whatever. I appreciate you.
Victorious. My name is Luther Wright, and I found joy in my journey on the Ronice MB Show.